Hey everyone, welcome to Mac and PC Prime Video, this beginner-friendly 15-minute DaVinci Resolve tutorial. Whether you're completely new to video editing or switching from another software, this guide will walk you through everything you need to start editing like a pro. Let's jump right in. Start by downloading the latest version of the DaVinci Resolve software from the Blackmagic website, which I'll link below. While there is a paid version, free version once you've downloaded and installed it. After installing, open the app. This window will pop up. This is where we're going to create a new project. Give it a name and click Create. Now the main software will open up, and while DaVinci is a very advanced software, if you want it to be, it can also be a simple one. So down the bottom, you'll notice from left to right there are different workspaces, all designed to do something different. There's media for importing your shots, cut for doing basic edits in it, for doing more complex edits, fusion for visual effects, color for color grading, Fairlight for audio editing, and deliver for exporting. If you're working on a simple video though, and you want to keep your workflow super short, then you can head straight to the edit page where we can import our media directly into here. Before we do that though, head down to the bottom right and click the gear icon to open the project settings. Here we're going to set our project resolution and frame rate. Personally, I like shooting in HD at 25 FPS, so I'm going to set my project to that. However, many of you will also be using HD, in which case you'd choose 1920 by 1080 with whichever frame rate you personally prefer. If you're not sure, I'd recommend choosing 25. To keep things simple, I'm not going to touch anything else except for proxy media format. Just make sure it's not selected as ProRes 422, since that format is total overkill for basic video previews. So I'm going with H.264 instead. Now, click Save to save your preferences. Next, we're going to import our video clips into the project. To do that, we're going to go to the media pool on the left-hand side. If it doesn't show up automatically, just click it here and it will show up. This is where we're going to drag and drop our files directly into the project. And that's as simple as drag and drop. Now this box may appear when you do this, and what it's suggesting is that you change the project frame rate to the same frame rate as your footage. So you will want to click Change so your frame rates are consistent. At any point throughout your edit, you can drag more videos, photos, music, or audio files into the media pool. Okay, now the clips we imported are available here. On the left-hand side, just double-click one to have it show up in the viewer, where you can easily scrub over the timeline to preview the shot. Down the bottom, we've got the project timeline, which is where we'll be editing the clips, and you can zoom in and out of the timeline through the plus and minus. Here at the top, we've got our previews, and there's an option to create either a single or a double preview. Double preview will allow you to view both shots from your media pool on the left, as well as your timeline preview here on the right. However, I would recommend using one only so you can have more screen real estate for your main timeline. Alright, now let's edit to do so. Drag your first clip from the media pool onto the timeline and you can drop it anywhere, really. It doesn't have to be at the very start. I like to leave a little bit of space in case I want to add something in front later. And as for the timeline, the blue track is video and the green track is audio. As you can see by the waveforms of this clip to watch back, you can simply move the playhead along the timeline or tap the spacebar and it will play in real time. You can make your audio and video tracks bigger or smaller by dragging this bar at the top and bottom, and this helps increase the preview size. You can also adjust other aspects of the workspace, so the size of the viewer. You can drag that up or down, as well as the media pool size and other menus to make it cut to a dialogue-heavy edit, like the one I'm editing here. I'd recommend selecting Linked Selection. What this does is it combines the audio and video tracks together as one, so any changes you make will automatically be applied to both. So now, when we choose the blade over here or press B on your keyboard by clicking at this point in the timeline, it cuts both the audio and video at the same time. Then when I press delete, it deletes both. Whereas without the linked selection, It only cuts the track that you clicked. Now you will want to be careful when using the blade tool not to have it selected while navigating the timeline, because sometimes you can accidentally cut up your footage when you meant to just move across. So whenever you're not cutting, make sure you switch back to the arrow. Command or Control Z will also undo anything you do in Resolve. Another way to make it cut is selecting the arrow and hovering it over the start or end of your clip, and simply dragging it to the left or right. And you can see there's that white outline that indicates how long the total clip is and how much space you have to work with. If you have a secondary clip like the one I just put on the timeline, if you hover the arrow over the transition between the two clips, you can drag it left and right, and it will adjust the length of each clip simultaneously. Now you can also move clips around on your timeline. So if you just select a clip, you can drag it left and right as well as on top of the other track. And this is what you do if you're using a B-roll shot on top of a talking head without deleting what's underneath here, because you never know, you might decide to use this later. So what if you want to get rid of the audio track from one of the clips? As you can see here, the A camera has captured my voice, but the B-roll shot is just empty, and shots of me actually getting the shot, which will create extra background noise that we don't want. This is where you'll want to make sure link selection is off, so we can select just the audio without it being attached to the video and hit delete. If you want to add music to your edit, it works the exact same way as importing video clips. So I've got my track here that I've got Nilgiris audio, and my music I'm going to drag it over to the media pool. However, you can also just import your music track directly into the timeline, and it will automatically import the file into the media pool, which it's a lazy way of doing it. Okay, my way, I'm going to drag it across to the start of this video edit, and I want to start right when the camera starts. So now I'll press play and see how well this track sits. Now, just like with our first audio track, which is the dialogue with this second audio track, you can also expand the size so you can see the waveforms better. And you'll notice there's a faint white line here. This represents a decibel level. If you click that and drag it up, everything will go much louder, which you definitely don't want unless you want to go deaf. You can also make it much quieter, which I'd absolutely recommend when using any kind of music over talking. I like to go with a maximum of around -20 dB, even sometimes up to -25, so it's really nice and faint. If you want to add text and titles to your video, you can do so in the Effects tab. Then choosing titles on the left-hand side, there are a few different options here, and by hovering over them and moving your arrow from left to right, you can preview the text box swipe in before you drag them over. Once you find a text effect you like, drag it over to the timeline and place it above your clip. Let's zoom in so we can see better. And when we play that, we can see the text animation over our video to customize it. Just click on it and enter your own text, and you can obviously adjust the font, the color, the size, as well as a few other things. And there we go! Now it's also super easy to add transitions to your video. That is, if you want to use them and not just go with hard cuts to choose one, go back to the Effects tab and choose Video Transitions here. There's a whole bunch of preset transitions to add one. Drag it across and drop it at either the start or end of one of your video tracks. Then it will apply the effect automatically. If you're working with two clips on the same timeline, just drag it and drop it between the two. The next tab is Fusion, and this is for more advanced effects, which I won't be able to cover in this tutorial. If you're a beginner just starting out, I would recommend that you use the inbuilt effects here on the edit page. The next phase of the edit is color correction, and this is what DaVinci Resolve first became known for as the world's best color correction software. So obviously, there's a lot of menus here and so much you can do with your color correction. If you're just starting out though, I would recommend keeping things as simple as possible. so select the clip you want to color. Come down here to the color wheels, and the ones I recommend most are color temperature. Sometimes your shot is either too blue or too orange, so move that across until your colors look normal. Contrast. As you can see, this shot is very contrasty, so I'm going to reduce that. I'm going to reduce the highlights to get the window a bit under control and color. This is a great one for enhancing colors to be a bit brighter and more vivid. If you look at the before and after, that is already a massive difference after just of color correction. The next tab across is Fairlight, and this is an audio editor. Lots of great features here, but again, this is a bit on the advanced side and not needed if you're a beginner just starting out, since we've already done some super helpful audio editing in the Edit tab. So we're going to leave that for now and head over to the Delivered tab. This is where we'll be exporting the video. So the first step is setting in an out point, which means I want the video to start here and end here, since sometimes you can have random clips on your timeline that you just had there as backup, but you didn't end up using them because they just weren't good. To set the in point, navigate to the start of your video and press I on the keyboard and O on the keyboard to adjust the out point. I recommend keeping it simple here. You can export at a H.264 codec. It is important that you check these settings here to make sure the resolution is the one you want, as well as the frame rate. Give your file a name, choose a location to save, and then add to render queue. Finally, hit render all and you're done. So there you have it. There are the basics of the DaVinci Resolve editor. And that's it. You've just learned DaVinci Resolve basics in 15 minutes. If this helped, smash that like button, subscribe for more tutorials, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to learn next. Happy editing!